Okay, welcome to U.S. History Lesson 11, the race for empires. Up until this point, we've been studying how the Spanish mainly were dominating North America, but over time, other European powers wanted to get involved. We're going to talk about how that happened today. A little background information. In the 14 and 1500s in Europe, and early 1500s in Europe, the Catholic Church was all-powerful. They were above even the kings and queens. They had ultimate power, and the power was unchecked. And they had the power of God behind them. At least that's what they told the people. And as a result, they became very corrupt and greedy, even to the point where they were selling tickets to heaven called indulgences. They said no matter what you did, kill, steal, whatever, if you paid them enough money, they would write a ticket to heaven. And when people questioned that, they said, oh, it's in the Bible. And because most people couldn't read, they couldn't research it for themselves. However, over time, more and more people began questioning the Catholic Church's practices in private. But no one had the courage to stand up and step up and question them in public, because these type of people normally were thrown in prison or sometimes even killed. A very brave German monk named Martin Luther finally complained against the Catholic Church. He wrote 95 complaints in his 95 Theses. 95 complaints against the Catholic Church, telling all the reasons why the Church needed to change and reform. This and the printing press together set off a firestorm throughout Europe that eventually split the Catholic Church into two, the Protestant Church and the Catholic Church. As the religious center of Christianity was split in two, so were many of the major countries as they began to take sides. Countries like Spain and Portugal remained on the Catholic side, while a country like England began to form their own church, the Anglican Church, which would become Protestant. These different countries with different religions and were competing against each other, fueled by greed, hatred, anger, and religious differences. They began to fight and compete against each other all over the world. The split of the Catholic Church is called the Protestant Reformation, and it leads to many of the Christian churches we have today, like the Lutheran Church, the Presbyterian, the Methodist, the Baptist, and many more. And Martin Luther had a huge impact on the world, and results from this, these different new countries will start competing all over the world. They will send explorers out. England and France and the Netherlands will bring explorers to America as well. And those early explorers will be searching for what is called the Northwest Passage. The Northwest Passage was a water route that was said to be from where you could travel all the way from Europe by ocean all the way to China without having to go south all the way to South America. It was a bypass, a shorter route. However, the problem was it didn't exist. The ice from the Arctic Ocean was in the way, and so was the continent of North America, northern part of North America being Canada, the United States. So all these different explorers began looking for the Northwest Passage. However, none of them were able to find it, but they did find other things. They found the Hudson River, they found the Hudson Bay, they found fertile soils in America and Canada. They found what would become the first settlements in Virginia. They found what would become New York City, among others. So they didn't meet their accomplishment or their goal, but they did find other successes along the way. Henry Hudson. So Henry Hudson was one of those explorers. And there you can see the different routes, different ways that Hudson went on his voyages to America. The English had a different goal than the Spanish. The Spanish came to America to conquer. They were conquistadors. They wanted to enslave the Native Americans. They wanted to take the gold and riches and resources back to Europe, back to Spain with them, and they did not plan on staying for very long. However, the English wanted to stay permanently. So they brought, instead of bringing soldiers with them, they brought families. They brought livestock. They brought seeds. They were trying to stay forever and form settlements, which are known as colonies. So a big difference there. The first settlement was Roanoke in Virginia. It was a horrible place for a settlement in the swampy lowlands on the Virginia coast. And when they started their little village and the boat went back to England, the boat came back several months later and no one was there. Everyone disappeared. That's why Roanoke is called the Lost Colony. However, the English did not give up, and eventually they'll found Jamestown, which will be the first permanent settlement, and they will overcome hardship there and eventually colonize most of what is now the eastern part of the United States. The French had a different goal. They were here to fur trade. Samuel Champlain, Jacques Cartier were trying to find the Northwest Passage. They found many other things instead. And then people followed them, mainly men, explorers, who were looking for furs. And they're the only group that really consistently got along with the Native Americans because they were trading with them instead of fighting against them, instead of trying to take their land or trying to enslave them. So they learned a lot from the Native Americans, and the French went into the interior of America. They went in the Ohio River Valley and beyond, looking at the backwoods for the best animals and furs that they could bring back to Europe. Last group I would like to discuss today are the Dutch. The Dutch were much like the English. They were looking to settle. They were looking to trade. They found a great plot of land where the Hudson River meets the Atlantic Ocean. It's protected by an island called Long Island, and that will eventually become New Amsterdam. And then as that trade port begins to thrive, the more powerful English see that and will eventually take it over, and it will become New York City, one of the most important cities in the world today. So, in summary, many different countries began to explore the Americas in the late 1500s and early 1600s. They compete against Spain, and the northern part of North America will be settled mainly by the French and the English. The French, English, Dutch, and Spanish all had different goals and different styles of the way they explored in America. Hope this was helpful, and that's all I got. Thank you.